The objective of the next 10 minutes is to give you some key insights to help you make an informed choice, informed being the key word there, about your care options, and to ensure you find the very best care that suits your particular needs. So it's all about you and the care you need. So I'm going to talk about 4 main points you need to think about when you're looking for a care home. Now, these apply at any time, but they are very much more significant during lockdown when you're unable to visit due to the restrictions that are imposed at the moment. I'm also going to very briefly discuss how you can identify safe care homes. So those are ones that are really managing their infection control well during lockdown. So how do you find a care home during lockdown? Well, to be honest, it's all about getting online. This is where you will get your information from. As Glenn has said, Autumna is the largest directory of social care providers in the country, and crucially, we allow you to compare one care home against another. Really important when you can't visit. But don't worry, if you're not tech savvy or you simply just want somebody to talk it through with, we have a free advice line and you can speak to any of the advisors, and I can promise you they will be able to help you. So I've mentioned the 4 key areas that you need to consider when you're looking for a care home. What are they? The first one is location. The second is understanding the type of care that you need. The third is the price. And the final one, availability. So that's how soon you need the care home. So let's start with number 1, location. And it should be your starting point. There are over 14,000 care homes in the country, and you need to identify your location pretty tightly so that it works for your relative, but crucially also works for you. Many people get this bit wrong. They think that because Mum has always lived in Kent, she's lived in Kent all of her life, that's where the care home should be. And they are so used to that round trip from Birmingham, which is where they live, they do it once a month, they're so used to doing it, that it doesn't occur to them that Mum actually could be in a care home 5 minutes down the road from them. And I know it sounds really obvious when I'm talking about it now, but time and again, families overlook this simple fact that could really impact both them and their relatives' lives. The ability to pop in for a cup of tea for 30 minutes is invaluable. So the golden rule with location is always look in an area that will enable the person most likely to visit easily. So the second question is, what type of care home do I need? Now, care homes are broken down into 2 categories: residential care and nursing care. Both of these types of care can also support somebody who has dementia. Identifying which type of care home you need is really important before you start your research. It will save you so much time if you understand what you're looking for. And in the very simplest of terms, the difference between a residential care home and a nursing home is a nursing home will have nurses on site 24/7. That's a very simple differentiation, but it gives you a starting point. So if your relative has dementia, you will know that there are many different types of dementia, from mild forgetfulness to quite challenging behaviour. Don't worry, because there are care homes that can support any level of dementia, but you need to make sure the care home you're looking for matches the needs of your relative, whatever level that is. And a final point here, when you're deciding on the type of care that you need, make sure you future-proof the decision as much as possible. So if you think your relative might need nursing in the future, but they don't now, look for a dual registered care home. So that's a care home that offers residential and nursing care. You want to avoid somebody having to move because the care home can no longer meet their needs. And this applies to dementia care as well. If you think the nature of the dementia your relative has could develop, future-proof the home to make sure they can manage any escalating or changing behaviour or symptoms. And if you're not sure what you're looking for, call the Autumna advice line and we will be able to help you. So the third point is, how much is it going to cost? Well, if you're paying for your own care, or self-funding as it's called, this is a pretty important question. Nikki's going to discuss this in her presentation later on in much more detail. But the bottom line for a family is, if you run out of money and the care home asks you to leave, quite simply, you have chosen the wrong care home. Moving care homes because of poor choices at the start of your journey is the worst outcome for your relative, who could have settled, made friends, and be having, really enjoying their time there. So I would really urge you to take financial advice up front and be really honest with the care home about how long your funds will last. Care homes really understand these problems. It's also worth mentioning here that you may need to have the legal right to act on behalf of your relative, and Alison is going to talk through that in more detail when I've finished. But basically, the bottom line is, you need to get your ducks in line as far as your legal and financial matters regarding your relative are concerned. So then the fourth question is the availability. How quickly do you need your care home? In our experience, people need a care home pretty quickly. Most people choose a care home as the result of a crisis. They're therefore making this enormously important decision at a time of huge emotional strain. If you are able at all to plan ahead, without doubt, it will help you make an informed choice. What other decision, let's face it, in your life are you going to make that is this important, with such huge cost implications, in a week? And that's how long most people take. You're emotionally up in the air, you have little information to go on, and often little understanding of what you're buying. We know it's not a conversation most people want to have with a relative, but if there's any way you can have that conversation in advance, it will pay dividends. Now to the elephant in the room: coronavirus and care homes. Up until 6 weeks ago, the question most commonly asked on our advice line was, where is the best care home near me? About middle of March, end of March, that changed. And it changed to, where is the safest care home near me? Now, this was a big problem because we didn't know. Nobody knew. All of the statistical evidence about care homes is aggregated. So we know that nearly 60% of care homes have not experienced any COVID-19 at all. The problem is, nobody knows who the 60% are. So what we needed, what you needed, was information on an individual care home level. So we started looking around for third-party validated evidence that would help us to identify the safest care homes. And currently, the only evidence available is the COVID-19 emergency support framework that the Care Quality Commission is carrying out. And it assesses care homes on their ability to manage their infection rate. It's all we have, to be honest. So we have invited any care home who wants to publish this information, because the CQC isn't, to publish it on Autumna, and you can search by what you can see on the screen for SAFE care homes. It stands for Symptom Assessment for Everyone. You can see where we're going with SAFE, but at the moment, all we've got is the COVID-19 report from the CQC. So it's the first phase of evidencing the enormous measures that care homes have gone to keep their residents and staff safe throughout coronavirus. And we're actively looking for more evidence that we can publish. So in summary, do your research, but before you start, make sure you have clearly identified these 4 points: your location, the type of care you need, the price you can afford, and how quickly you need that care home, and plan ahead if you can. Get online, compare the care homes, look at their Facebook pages. Facebook is fantastic to find out what a care home has been doing. Watch their videos. There's lots more videos coming up. It's interesting, but the side effect of coronavirus means that care homes have begun to virtually open their windows and doors. And you can now look inside online. So if you can search online and do your research, it will save you much more time and you'll make a more informed choice. And look out for the Glad to Care, hashtag Glad to Care posts, because it will showcase what the care homes are doing. And finally, if you need any help, and that's lovely Martha, by the way, on the screen there, if you need any help, do email me or give us a call. We would love to help you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that, Debbie. Debbie Harris, of course, of Autumna. If you'd like more details and to visit the website, is autumna.co.uk. Some questions from me to you, firstly, Debbie, and don't forget to ask your questions in the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen there. You might have answered this already, Debbie, but again, how long do families usually have to find a care home?
Well, yesterday, 2 hours. We
2
had
hours.
a client who had 2 hours, yeah. On average, I would say it's between 1 and 2 weeks, but it depends on the circumstances. Hospital can be a week or less. It's a very quick decision, and very rarely longer than 2 weeks, very rarely. It's a lot of research you need to do in a very short time.
A lot of due diligence as well.
Yeah.
How are families choosing a care home when they can't really visit? As you mentioned, we've got coronavirus, COVID-19 at the moment, preventing a lot of people from doing a lot of things, least of all visiting a care home. But how are families choosing that all-important home when they can't actually visit?
It's online. It's the only thing you can do. It's videos and Facebook. It's watching the interactive stuff, I think, is having a huge influence on whether or not somebody chooses a particular care home over another. But if I was looking for my mum, and that's the starting point I always take, if I was looking for my mum, I would be looking at Facebook. I would be looking at videos, and I'd be doing my online research. We get an awful lot of people looking for care homes at 1 o'clock in the morning. You know, if it's online, you can do it at a time that's convenient to you.